Welcome to another edition of Inside Titan Sports. I'm your host, Jeff Radcliffe, and as we always do each and every week here on WEFS, we take a 30-minute trip around the Eastern Florida State College athletic program to talk about the Titans. And today, a very baseball-heavy show as the Titans get set to go to the state tournament. And starting us off in the first segment, we've got assistant coach Jason Broussard and one of the fabulous Capra brothers, John Capra, and we'll have Vinny on here in our second segment. Welcome, guys. So, Jason, season is over. You get a little break here, but now we do states next.
Correct. Everybody has about 3 weeks off between the regular season and the state tournament. For us, these 3 weeks are an important period for us. Kind of gave the guys about a week off just to kind of relax after the season, let them catch up on their schoolwork. And now we're getting back into our scrimmage games, getting a lot of live reads off the bat and stuff like that to get ready.
John, 32 wins here this season so far, and I know you guys want to keep it going. How has the season went in your mind?
Season went just as good as I expected it to. I mean, at the beginning of the season, our team kind of clicked a lot better than you would ever imagine, and it kind of turned out good for us.
Give me your assessment, if you can run through the story of the season. Did it play out to your expectations on the coaching staff?
Most definitely. We started out really hot, winning our first 5 games. Kind of got into a little slump, but midway through conference, we really caught fire and started playing really well and won some big games.
And there was some adversity. You guys had some injuries down the stretch with Norberto and Calvo going out a little bit, which really hurts the team. But you guys really brought it together and won some big games down the end.
Yeah, we knew we had to find a way to do it without them. I mean, they were 2 key players in our lineup, and we had no choice but to try and work without them, and we did what we could.
Talk a little bit about working these last couple of years with the Capra boys.
Well, we've been very fortunate to have their 3 brothers here. All of them can play any position on the infield, and that really helps us having that mobility because you can put them anywhere and they're going to do well. And then on the lineup, they can hit 1 through 4 and they're going to do just fine. And it's a confidence boost for everybody on the team to know that they can play every position on the field.
John right now hitting 329, 24 RBIs, really there right in the heart of that order for Coach Jeff Tam and Coach Broussard. You played close to home. I mean, you guys won a state championship at MCC right down the road. How important was it for you guys to continue to play collegiate baseball close to where you started?
Oh, it's great. I mean, it makes it a little bit easier because you don't have to think about other things. It's just all you get to focus on is baseball and school.
Jason, it must be nice to be able to draw. You guys really have done really well on the recruiting trail. It helps to be in Florida, but it helps to be here when you have such a wide recruiting base and guys that want to play nearby.
Correct. I also have to give thanks to our AD and to the college for helping us develop our program. We have a lot of resources, the new field, the batting cage, the stands. That really helps bring people in, and especially the local guys who come and watch games and they see we just have great resources available for them.
Yeah, Bruce Bochy Field, if you haven't been there, shame on you, but it is a gem, and you talk to some of the opposing coaches that come in here, and also people that come here for clinics. It is. What is it like to play on that kind of surface? Number one, that kind of stadium, at this level.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, every coach that really comes over, when I was playing first base, I'd talk to them, and a lot of them are just saying that our field it blows everybody's out of the water. Like our field is so much nicer, and I think it makes it easier to play when you know that the field is just going to help you out there. Like especially on ground balls, you know it's going to stay flat. You're going to get a true ground ball.
Sure, and if it's just like when you're wearing a good-looking uniform. When you look good, you play good. When you got a good surface to play on, it brings the best out of your opponents as well because they look forward to coming here to play sometimes.
Correct.
Talk about just your history here, Jason. I mean, you're a local guy, played at Satellite. What brought you to Eastern Florida?
Well, I grew up in Melbourne. Once I got done playing college ball, I came home and talked to Coach Tam, and he gave me a great opportunity as a volunteer assistant. And this is my 3rd year. I've really learned a lot from our 3 coaches, Jeff Tam, Jose Soto, and Roman Restrepo. He's also a first-year coach here. And my first 2 years, it was kind of a big learning curve, going from playing to coaching, just learning the ins and outs, what to look for. And now in my 3rd year, I'm a lot more comfortable and have been able definitely to help out a lot more in different facets of the game.
John, what things has Coach Jason done? I mean, you're an infielder. He likes to really work on defense. And what are some of the things he's been responsible for that really has helped your game and maybe some of your teammates?
Well, it's great. It's great having him out there because anytime that I want to come to the field, he's available. If I want some ground balls, he's there. He'll hit them for me. If I need some help in the cages, he'll be there. He'll throw to me. He'll help me out with my swing. He really just does anything that we need. And
yeah, I mean, before we started the show, full disclosure, he's kind of like the five-tool player, the utility man. Some of the other responsibilities, when you're, playing in a two-year school, I mean, you do a little bit more than you maybe would at a four-year school. Talk about some of the responsibilities you have.
Definitely a lot more field maintenance stuff, but we take a lot of pride in keeping everything very clean and very clean cut. There's just different responsibilities. I help out. You have to help out around because there's not a lot of resources available, so everybody has to kind of do their part in assisting with everything. Let's
look ahead. State coming up here just around the corner. You're going to Lakeland. You're nice. We already talked about the break. It's nice to have this break, but what's the mindset right now?
The mindset is win, of course. I mean, we can't do anything but win. If we win, we keep moving on. And I have full confidence in our team this year that that's exactly what we'll do, and we've already showed it.
You guys finished tied for first with Broward. We know how the tie-breaking thing that never seems to be quite fair. But what does it mean to be able to make states again and do it this time? You guys kind of did it by controlling your own destiny, really.
Well, this is my third year here. In the first 2 years, we had to play the play-in game.
Yes.
And that game definitely is a lot of pressure. Our clubhouse atmosphere this year, walking off Palm Beach to get us into second place, was unbelievable because the weight just came off our shoulders, and we knew we're going there, we're going to play 2 games in Lakeland, and if we play well, there's a lot of good things that can happen for us.
Yes, we called that game on WEFS a 13-inning marathon. That with each passing inning, the stress was for everybody involved. Was there? What was it like playing in a game like that? Because that's what clinched the playoffs for you guys.
Oh, it's exactly how everybody feels. Everybody who's watching the game, you feel the same way. But you have to control you can't elevate the game. You got to keep it on the same level. You got to keep your cool, and that's exactly what we did.
What was it like? I mean, the release at the end was something special to watch as the guys celebrate. You have a really special group of guys.
Yes, we do, and our team chemistry is unbelievable, and the fight and the resiliency that we have, to be a part of it is such an awesome experience because just everybody has that one goal of winning, and we just all buy into it, the coaching staff and all 26 players on the roster, and it's just an amazing feeling.
Well, we got to take a break. Jason, stay right there. John, thanks for joining us, and we'll have Vinny in the chair next. You're watching Inside Titan Sports.
Eastern Florida State College. This is where you discover new opportunities, where you pursue your dreams, and careers take flight. Apply now for new bachelor and associate degree programs in business, healthcare, computer technology, and other growing fields. Eastern Florida, where Titans rise. Apply today.
Welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. I'm Jeff Radcliffe. We continue to talk Titans baseball with Jason Broussard, the assistant coach, and now we bring in Vinny Capra, one of the Capra brothers. We will not be able to have Nick for the next segment. He's at High Point University playing baseball. Jason, what's it like coaching twins? Does that ever get a little sketchy or a little confusing for you?
I think it's actually an awesome opportunity. They're both very competitive, and they're both infielders. And so when I work with the infielders, it's great to have 2 guys who are really competitive because that helps the rest of the infielders and the rest of our offense to have really 2 competitive guys, and that just kind of trickles down, and everybody buys into that competitiveness.
You won the championship with the Hustlers at MCC with your brothers. What's it like to continue that relationship on the baseball field?
It's great having us all last year in one spot, having us compete still. It's kind of the same old thing, but there's always a closer competition between your brothers, and you try and outbeat them, and it kind of just keeps everything flowing. And when other people see this, I feel like they kind of buy into it, and it kind of makes them work a little bit harder.
a middle infielder, shortstop extraordinaire in the Southern Conference, of course, hitting .377 right now, leads the team in doubles. Talk about Vinny as a player.
It just speaks for his work ethic. You won't find a guy who works harder on the field anywhere in the state of Florida in junior college. With that buy-in, all the results have came up, and he's a tremendous athlete. And when you add that with the work ethic and the great coaching staff here, the results have just produced very well.
And you and your brother, you're not just known as guys in the infield. You guys really do well with the bat too. I mean, you guys are a big part of that lineup. How hard is it to concentrate on both things and do everything well?
Well, sometimes it is a little difficult, but when you simplify the game and you realize that they're very separate things, then you work hard at both of them, and you can get to the same spot that you've been, and that requires different mindsets for both fielding and hitting. But when you shorten it up and just get right to the point, then hitting is just a whole different thing. But
it's also contagious, right?
Contagious, yes. Having Sammy bat behind me, he does really well, and our chemistry is phenomenal. The way we both like to chain hits together, and it's great for the rest of the team.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the other players on this team, not just the Capras, but Sammy Durant. I mean, who are some of these players that have really knocked it out of the park, so to speak, this season?
Well, Sammy has started off really hot and just continued that through the whole season. Another player, Norberto Navarro, has definitely carried us. Started hitting in the 9-hole at the beginning of the season, got hot, we moved him up into the 2-hole. Manny Rodriguez, our center fielder, tremendous year, great leadership abilities, and he really helped us out at the beginning of the lineup as a table setter. That's a big deal when you have a guy in the leadoff spot who can get on consistently.
Talk about some of the other guys that have been a big part of your 2 years here.
Manny, last year, we had a good connection last year, but having him bat leadoff and then Norberto second, it gives me a lot more confidence when I got those guys on base because they can run, and then having our 1 through 5 guys all with speed and some power to hit the gaps, it just makes things flow a little better in each game that we play.
Looking ahead, you're going to play Santa Fe, and we've already talked a little bit about the layoff. That's going to be Sunday, May 15th, I think that's correct, but that's going just down the road a little bit. What kind of challenge do they present, being in that other conference? Do you see them? Do you know them?
We haven't seen them play this year, but we've got a couple of reports on them. They're a good, fundamental, solid team. They're one of the top teams in the country. But with saying that, we've played several teams from their conference, and we know what that conference has to offer, and we're confident that if we play well and we string some hits together and pitch well and play our normal defense, that we have a good shot at winning the game.
Vinny, the cliche is peaking at the right time. Do you guys feel you're at that point? And now, of course, if that is true, you get this break, which is certainly unfortunate. You kind of lose that steamrolling momentum.
I don't think it's really going to lose our momentum. I think we have a little bit of things to work on through this whole break, but I think that most of our team is fired up for this, and we're all ready, which means we're all going to be ready to compete against the best of the teams in the state tournament.
You have one memory that will stick out. Would it be that game to clinch the playoff spot against Palm Beach? Most
definitely. There were so many plays in that game. Sammy had an outfield assist, Manny's outfield assist, and then obviously Ian Isle had a 2-out base hit for 2 RBIs to tie it, and then JCRO had the game-winning RBI, which was a very sweet victory.
What's next for you guys? Obviously, the next thing is beat Santa Fe, but beyond that, there's not just baseball, but more than baseball for you and your brother.
Yes, most certainly. Baseball is a big factor in our lives, though. We continue to want to play as far as we can possibly go. But, school is also a big thing, and we take grades importantly in everything in life.
Yeah, John majors in accounting. You're in sports psychology.
Sports psychology.
He's on to you, I think, right? Is that do you worry about what these guys are thinking sometimes, especially when they're? What did you major in? Just curious.
I'm a history major.
Okay, so one looking forward, one looking back. So, but you have these unique personalities on the team, and I think as a coach, it's always tough to mesh guys together. And you guys have done a good job with that. Talk about getting everybody on the same page.
Coach Tam does a great job, just bringing everybody together. We have guys from all over the state of Florida, from Puerto Rico, and he just has a very laid-back, cool personality, and that helps everybody be comfortable. That's the biggest thing. If you have 26 players who are comfortable being around everybody, that when they go into a fight, they know that they're going to stick together and everybody's going to be there for everybody.
Just a couple of fun questions here. I know, and I should have asked John about his juggling talent. We'll ask off the show, but you ultimate frisbee is one of these things that you pointed out on your bio last year that I remember. Something you still play?
Yeah, I'd love to play it. Most of the time, in our free time, we like to play some wiffle ball. But ultimate frisbee, we got our team to play some ultimate frisbee last year. It was a lot of fun.
Who, as far as who you look up to, coming up as a player yourself? What you being a catcher, is there kind of a model player that you tried to model your game off? And maybe there's a model coach now too.
I definitely look at Tim Corbin, the head coach at Vanderbilt, to model myself after. He's definitely taking a program that's a very small program in the SEC, and then definitely has built it up with
Won a College World Series a couple of years ago, yeah.
With tremendous recruiting and tremendous player development. And that's one thing I pride myself in, is always trying to get everybody better, as best as they can be when they come through our program.
Vinny, who's somebody that you might have looked up to, either whether off the field or on?
I look up to Coach Tam a lot in his experience that he's had in the majors, and his mindset that he continually, helps us to see, what pitch is being thrown in certain counts. All these different small things, and he's passed it on a lot to Jason here, who helps us in the dugouts when Tam's coaching third, and he helps us all, kind of keep our mindsets going for each next at bat.
You coach first base. What goes into coaching first base other than just standing there like a statue? A lot of people wondering, you're not the guy. Come on, you're not doing that. What goes into that?
Well, A, you have to make sure you know the signs. And B, I'm always trying to communicate with the base runners. If guys got a good balk move or a good pickoff move, I got to let them know. Everything kind of depends on where we are in the game. If it's a close game or if we have a good lead, we can be a little bit more aggressive. Make sure we don't get doubled up on line drives, just certain small things like that.
Awesome. Well, guys, we appreciate the time and the candor. Best of luck in Lakeland. That is Jason Broussard, assistant coach, and Vinny Capra. Congratulations on a fine career and good luck to you and your brother as you move on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back on Inside Titan Sports, we shift from baseball to a little spring soccer, maybe talk a little OCB. They had their first win. We'll have Oliver Twelvetrees in next on Inside Titan Sports.
This is where we're building the future. This is where we meet the challenge, where leaders emerge and careers take flight. This is where you discover new opportunities. Choose to stand where excellence lives, where titans rise. Eastern Florida State College.
Welcome back to Inside Titan Sports, and for our final segment, we get to talk some soccer as we bring in men's soccer coach Oliver Twelvetrees. Oliver, busy time. You would think the busy times of fall, but really you guys have been very active as a coaching staff with the camps right now.
Yeah, it's been a really good end to the spring. We just finished our spring up with our Elite ID camp, which was a great success. We had almost 80 players attending the camp, and it's a big part of our recruiting season in terms of being able to evaluate firsthand some of the local players and local talent that we know are around Brevard County, and it was very successful. We ended up committing 2 players, one from Orlando and one from Brevard County for the squad for next year, so we're hoping they can be big additions to the team.
Outstanding. Out of curiosity, about how many ballpark kids came out for that, and then maybe how many coaches were on hand to take a look?
We had 80 players almost. I think 78 was the number, and then we had a coach from Division I, Division II, NEIA, and junior college level. So we had, including myself and my staff, we had 6 coaches out there.
And even if they don't get signed, the kids are getting something out of that camp, right?
Exactly. They're getting the knowledge, and each coach gets to work with a group all day in the morning with activities and in the afternoon in games, so they're able to impart some knowledge. And we also get our players involved, coaching the teams and actually playing a little bit with the players as well, so they get to experience what it's like to socialize and being around the college players. And some of the guys are very knowledgeable, and they like to think they're going to be the next Jose Mourinho or Oliver Twelvetrees.
Do we want that, really? June 18th, Jeff Carr will have the same opportunity with the women as well.
Yeah, no, this will be the first ID camp that the women are going to have, and Coach Teresa, she's putting this together with Coach Carr, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity opportunity. Again, the level of female soccer players in Brevard County is extremely high, and I think if we can get a lot of players out there to camp, she'll be able to bring other coaches in from other schools as well, and really showcase the talents of the local community. So yeah, June 18th should be a great day for the female ID camp.
And before that, June 14th to 17th, you have the Eastern Florida OCB Experience Camp. Tell us a little bit about that.
Obviously, with our unique relationship now with OCB, but they're playing our home games at the Titan Complex, we've decided to run a soccer camp, a youth soccer camp, in conjunction with a game at the end of the week. So the players will come and do a regular youth camp with our staff and our players. And then at the end of the week on the Sunday, they'll get a free ticket to the OCB game, and then after the game have a chance to take some pictures with a few of the players and sign some autographs as well. So it's something unique for Brevard County and something unique for Eastern Florida that we're trying to offer the community.
And the game they get to see will be against New York Red Bulls too, a team with a fabulous academy, so they'll see a high quality soccer at a team that also will probably have a couple of MLS caliber guys just like OCB.
Yeah, no, the Red Bulls have certainly moved a lot of players into their first team, and they've signed a lot of academy players onto the USL team. So there's been a good progression there, which I think Orlando City are trying to follow that model in terms of sending players directly from their academy into their USL and then hopefully into the MLS squad.
Sell them like Matt Miazga to Chelsea.
Yes,
You
exactly.
never know. You could have a next Chelsea player if you're okay with that. I'm showing my bias. Let's talk a little bit about OCB coming off their first win over the weekend, at home anyway, the first against FC Montreal. And I think there's some certainties in life. You've got death, taxes, but also it's either going to do one of two things at an OCB game. It's going to rain, or there's going to be an OCB player sent off with a red card.
Yes, I'm sure Coach Pulis was pretty frustrated again when he saw the ref raise the red card, because that's the third game in a row they've had to play with 10 men. And obviously they've got the experience of it, so I think they were able to hold on to that win and get the result, which was great. And I think you could see how much it meant for the players and the coaching staff to hold on and get that first win in front of the home fans. And it was an exciting finish to the end of the game.
And we had a beautiful night of weather, Chamber of Commerce-like conditions for that one. Michael Cox had the goal in the 10th. Then the sending off came is Devron Garcia, last man. So for the better part of 75 minutes, Orlando City B playing with a goal lead but a man down, and had to really get defensive and bunker in. And man, Mark Ridgers from the back all the way to the front, they did the job. Yeah,
he's been a revelation, hasn't he, Ridgers, this season? He's been great in all the games and come up with some big saves at the end of the game. And the way they scored that goal, I think, shows how they can play and shows the potential in the team. It's something like a 20-pass combination move, finished off with the great cross and knocked back across goal from Lewis Neal for Cox to finish off. So I think the blueprint's there with that passing game, how they can score and create goals, and they showed it with that fantastic goal. I think there should be more to come as these players become more accustomed to playing with each other.
As we tape this on a Tuesday, there's another game against FC Cincinnati on Wednesday that have already been played. What we can tell you, there is a certainty they will not reach their average attendance, because the Eastern Florida State College Titan Soccer Complex cannot hold 15,000 people. That's quite a story that FC Cincinnati is breaking all sorts of attendance records as a first-year club.
Yeah, former U.S. national team legend John Harkes is the coach up there, and I think their highest attendance is 20,000, which again I think is a record for the USL, and maybe they'll bring some fans down with them.
And for the second time, then on the weekend, on Saturday, it's going to be Bethlehem Steel, the affiliate of the Philadelphia Union. So for the second time, like FC Montreal, it's an affiliated club, kind of on that same level, trying to push guys forward, have some MLS guys that are young and trying to develop. Should be a really interesting matchup.
Yeah, the Philly Union as well. They're a very good academy side, and they really are promoting the young, talented players in that Philadelphia metro area where there's a lot of them. But I think it's good to see how the Orlando City B teams players have been able to step up and merge, and I think the likes of Harrison Heath coming into the squad has really helped. And you could see the chemistry he has with Tyler Turner on the field as well, and how they want to work for each other and play for each other really showed in that last game.
And you had Connor Donovan, who's a U.S. youth national teamer who tore his ACL in his first 10 minutes of the MLS season that he played last year against the Philadelphia Union. Ironically enough, against CJ Sapong, came back and played 45 minutes in his first game back since last September when that injury happened. That was a really nice moment.
Yes, definitely. It's very hard coming back from that long injury, and he looked sharp out there. It looks like he's going to bring leadership to that back four as well as a calm head. And I think, being a former national team player as well, he's going to bring that next level play.
So he's impressed. Who else has impressed you, I think, for OCB right now?
I think Lewis Neal obviously is always going to give you that experience. I think perhaps moving him onto the left side of the midfield gives them maybe some natural width and good decision making out there and some experience. So he's been good, and I think from left back he's been fantastic. The young left back out of Dallas, he's been really, really good. We can hold it for a sec.
Yeah, and I forgot too. I was thinking who is
Ambrose?
Yeah, Mikey Ambrose.
Mikey Ambrose.
I couldn't
Okay,
think of
so
it.
when you ask me that question again.
Okay, that's a good, easy stop. What I can do. So we've talked about Donovan, maybe even Michael Cox and Ridgers. Who else is impressed for you?
I think Mikey Ambrose, out there on the left back position has been very, very impressive. He was a constant threat on the left side on the game on Sunday, and he can attack, he can get down the line, he can get balls in the box, he can combine with his attacking players as well. He's a lockdown defender, and I think he's going to be one that's going to be pushing on in the future to make that step up in the grade into the MLS team.
Yeah, I thought Cox was very, very well on the goal, a guy who could hold up. He was a very Kyle Larin type of performance for Michael Cox. But the service he got from Lewis Neal, 34 years old, he is the one guy that's not 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 on that roster. He's the one that raises that average age. He's playing very, very well now too.
Definitely, and moving him over to that left-hand side of midfield, maybe that helps him a little bit to give him some true natural width and a left-footed player. And that's why you play soccer tennis in practice. There was a great move, you were able to head that right across goal and then the first time finish. So he's gonna, I think, him and Mikey on that left side could give him some good balance moving forward.
Lewis Neal, if you don't know, a native of Leicester in England. And big news this past week, if you've been on another planet, even if you're not a soccer person, you've learned that a 5,000 to 1 shot won the English Premier League title. Your take on that, because that's something we may not see again in our lifetime.
It's certainly a fantastic moment, and I think it's a throwback to when the top leagues in the world were more open, and it wasn't about the finances, it was more about the team chemistry and how much you could achieve as a team, and it was great to see a young Leicester team that was 7 points away from relegation at Christmas last year to now, a year and a half later, now they're champions of the Premier League, and they've done it with 2 strikers, the old 4-4-2 system. They've done it with hard work and chemistry, and the cost of that team, I believe, was only £26 million, which is a lot of money, but if you look at the cost of Chelsea's last championship win or Man City, you're talking 250 million pounds for that, the cost of the whole starting 11. So what Leicester's done is great for soccer in general, and I think moving forward it'll give some other smaller clubs hope that they can achieve that dream.
That's where I was going. Open the door for Swansea?
I hope so. That the blueprint's there, and they've done fantastic. They had a highest finish of, I believe, 9th a couple of years ago. Again, with young players, hungry players, players that are going to work for each other. And I think that's the key. Having players that aren't just there for the money, but there to actually work for each other and achieve something as a collective group.
Crazy. We had the Kansas City Royals win a World Series. Now Leicester win the EPL. Well, that's all the time we have, Oliver. Pleasure as always. We'll see you in the broadcast booth on the weekend as OCB takes on Bethlehem Steel. A reminder to catch up on all things Eastern Florida State College athletics. To get really in depth, go to the website, which is maintained expertly by one Mark Dakotas. Go to EFSCTitans.com and make sure you tune in next week. It's our final show, all golf, as Eastern Florida State College is going to be hosting the national tournament out at Durand. We'll be talking plenty about that next week. So for all my guests, I'm Jeff Radcliffe saying so long, go Titans.